What's up, YouTube? This is your boy G back in another video. Today is an interesting day. Our good friends from Maono actually sent us this microphone for testing and for review. This is the Maono PD100X. I purchased a couple of stuff from Maono already. If you probably saw my recent video, it's about the G1 Neo audio mixer. I purchased that from my own money. And also I've been using this Maono PD200X for I think more than a year already. Can't even remember, but I really love this. This is the microphone that I'm using right now. And we're going to compare this to my PD200X here, right? Which one is better? Now, the interesting part about this is also the same, almost the same as this one. I'll bet the bigger, RGB lights. However, it has both USB connectivity on it, USB-C, and then XLR input, right? And again, purchasing a G1 Neo just a couple of days ago will be really, really perfect timing because we can now check both the USB and XLR connectivity of this and see which one is better, right? The older PD200X, also the much more expensive PD200X, or maybe you can go around with this Maono PD100X for a fairly cheap price. I believe this is just around 45 bucks as well. But let's go ahead and find out. Let's go ahead and unbox this stuff right now. All right, let's go ahead and check the box here real quick. Good thing is Maono also sent the free XLR cable for this. So that's pretty awesome. You don't need to buy a separate XLR cable. We already have that. And this is the box itself. Ooh, it's a PD100X. Looking good. RGB model. Of course, there's also like a black model there, but this is the RGB one. Maono Link, as you can see, an RGB there. It's all glory. And USB and XLR dynamic microphone, right? So that is how it looks. Portable stand included, USB-C and XLR connectivity. 2-in-1 knob, it adjusts both sides, programmable RGB and touch to mute button, right? Which is pretty cool compared to the PD200X, which is like a tactile button. All right, let's find out what's inside of this. By the way, if you're new here into the channel, consider subscribing. It might help you on your purchase decision as I review stuff like this, so you can really see how it works. And thanks so much. By the way, this is the manual, pretty thick, different languages, so you got covered there. Maono. Shout out to Maono, by the way. Thanks so much again for sending this one over our friends. Now, this is just a sample. They didn't pay for this video. They didn't sponsor it. So we're to review it and compare it to our PD200, the one that I'm using already. So this is the base. You also have this hefty base and of course USB with A and C on the other side. And this is the base. You have this little adapter as well for the connection, just in case you decide to put it on a boom arm. And here it is. This is the actual mic after the box here. Let's just set this aside so we can check it out. This is the PD100X RGB model. Now the other version, the black one, is also RGB, but it's like full-on RGB. So as you can see, without electricity, without the RGB lit up, it's just white and then black underneath with this headphone monitoring, RGB button, and the USB-C, and of course the XLR connection there. And that is the mute just below or just above the Maono logo there. This is a touch sensitive one, which is again pretty cool. And of course your gain and headphone volume control at the same time. All right, looking good. I love this stand of it. The handle's just on the side. I love that. And this is the inside of this. It's not that thin, if you notice, or it's not that thick rather. So it might introduce some pop there. It's just thin. And also the capsule is way on the top, if you notice. So it may have some plosives, right? So you just have to be careful with that one. But yeah, it's kind of like square here. It's not like circle, which is interesting, but it looks really, really cool, especially with this stand. I love this stand, asymmetrical stand. It's just on the right side, right? Or the one side of it which accentuate the looks of it. It's really, really looking good. Of course, this is the base. Again, you can just put it like so, or you can also mount it into your mount, right? If you have like a boom arm or a microphone arm, which is preferable. I'm going to connect this to my microphone arm later on, you will see. But this is how it looks like on the stand. Stand is very, very small, like their other Maono stand. So yeah, I mean, displaying the microphone, this is good, but an actual usage, that is pretty short. You're gonna, of course, gonna get like this. That adapter is already included if you want to put it on an arm, like a microphone arm. All right, but that's how it looks like. Again, this is the Maono PD100X. And I think I have like a little microphone here. Yeah, DGM20 with an external pop filter. This is a condenser, budget microphone from Maono as well. So as you can see, this is how they stack up on the length of the stand, right? They're pretty small. I think Maono stands are always small like this. It's good for displaying, but not in actual usage. But let me go ahead and plug this in and let's do some testing. All right, on to some testing and comparison right now. So as you can see, I plugged in this PD100X, using my mount here, and I connected it via USB and XLR. We're going to test the XLR later on. But right now, we're actively using the USB connection, and you're actually listening into this one via the USB, right? It's straightly connected to the OBS. No filter, no noise suppression, whatever. This is the PD100X. Now, I do have the PD200X here, so we can also swap it and compare real quick. This is connected by USB as well, as you can see. No noise suppression, whatever, no filters. So we're going to swap here to compare it, right? So again, what you're listening right now is PD100X, around 50% gain. Pretty low, but we'll increase that later on. And then I'm going to swap it now to PD200X in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is the PD200X. So as you can see, it's probably a little bit tinny here. If I speak a little bit closer like this, it will sound like this. All right, this is the quality of the PD200X. And again, this is also connected via USB, right? That's the difference on that. PD200X, PD200 or 100X, both from Maono, right? Dynamic microphone with both USB and XLR connection. Right now, we're using the USB. All right, now I have plugged the microphone. As you can see on the left side here, this is the G1. We're currently using the PD200X XLR via the G1 Neo, and the PD100X and PD100 or 200X are also both connected via USB, and we're going to test them, right? So I'm going to mute this XLR connection first, and we'll test the PD100X via USB. Switching right now. All right, so as you can see, the G1 Neo, PD200 XLR again, is disabled. It's on mute. Put that on mute. Make sure that it's also mute on the hardware. And now we're just using the PD100X. This is via USB, and all of them has noise suppression right now. We'll also test without noise suppression there, and a couple of options. As you can see, the software, the Maono Link software is here. All right, now this is again with the noise suppression on the OBS, and this is without the noise suppression. My room is a little bit noisy. I have, air conditioning and some stuff. But that's what you hear on PD100X via USB connection without noise suppression. And here it is with noise suppression. Now, this is just noise suppression of the OBS. Later on, I'm going to show you that the PD100X actually has noise suppression on its own as well. Now, again, let's go ahead and dig deeper on the software. Once you download the Maono Link, it will show you all of your Maono, supported microphone like right now. So right now we have the PD200X and 100X here, pretty much the same. This is the 200X. As you can see, it's currently on mute. And then the PD100X is the one that we're using right now. Now this is pretty powerful. If you go to the standard, you have a couple of options here. First is, of course, it will show you like a visualization of your actual volume level or gain, which is pretty cool because you can see if it's if you're clipping here or what. Our gain is on 100, which is pretty high. I suspect this is super loud right now. So let's turn it down around 60. As you can see, it looks pretty good around 60-70%. Now, after the gain, you have a headphone volume. If you want to monitor your microphone, you can plug a headphone on the back and then just turn this on. Of course, when you turn it off, it will turn off the monitoring. And you can also adjust the volume there. Same with the knob itself, right? The knob is like a two-way knob. If you press it on the center, it will toggle between gain and headphone volume control. Now you have a couple of tone here. The very first one is deep, and we're actually talking on that. So let's go ahead and test and compare if there's any difference. I purchased my very first Steam Deck about 1 year ago. That's on deep. I purchased my very first Steam Deck about 1 year ago. That is on original. I purchased my very first Steam Deck about 1 year ago. That is on natural. I purchased my Steam Deck about 1 year ago. That is on legacy. So a couple of options there. I'm going to leave it on the deep. Now you also have RGB on it. You can just toggle it on and off. And then you can adjust the brightness, as you can see here, which is pretty cool. The light of the 100X is actually super bright. You have static, pulse, and dynamic, which is also really good, especially the level meter. If you select the level meter, the LED light, the RGB light will look kind of like this. It will show you the lighting leakage, as you can see there. I'm going to put it on static right now. And then when you go to the advanced, if you go to the advanced here, it will open up the right side of it. So same gain, headphone volume, but then you now have EQ, right? And the good thing about this, there are presets like this one, flat, high pass filter, presence boost, and high pass filter and presence boost, all combined. You can also click on custom. It'll give you 3 bands, or if you want, you can blow it all to 7 bands like this, which is really cool. When you go back, you also have an option to do limiter. You can activate limiter there if you want. You also have compressor, which is super cool. And then finally, you also have noise suppression here. So right now, you're speaking or you're listening without noise suppression. So let me just disable the OBS noise suppression here. As you notice, that's our noise suppression. Let me disable that. All right, you can hear a lot of noise, right? So let's use the noise suppression of the Maono itself. Bam. Noise gone. Now it's very powerful, or very aggressive. So you can just start from low and find your sweet spot right there. So again, you have a couple of options, right? You can cancel the noise right here, or you can just disable that and use the noise suppression from the OBS, which I actually find super good, right? I love the noise suppression of OBS. This works really great on my microphone. Now again, that is the software for Maono, and it's just the same for both PD100X, again the one that we check, versus PD200X, right? It's exactly the same. What we're going to do is compare them again side by side, and then later on we'll plug them on their XLR connection to see how they work by XLR. But again, right now you're listening to the PD100X via USB, as you can see here. If we mute that right now, and use the PD200X. That is now the PD200X that you're listening via USB. Again, this is the PD200X via USB. This is the PD100X via USB. This is PD100X via USB. This is PD200X via USB. This is PD200X via XLR. Again, this is PD200X via XLR. We're going to connect the PD100X on that XLR as well so we can check. And this is the PD100X via USB. Let me know down in the comments below if you can hear any difference. Let me go ahead and plug the XLR right now so we can also listen to its XLR capabilities. All right, you're now listening to the PD100X XLR, all right, via that G1 Neo that I've got. Now I put a noise suppression there as well, and we'll compare it with the built-in noise suppression of the G1 Neo. But this is how it works out of the box for the noise suppression via OBS. Let me disable that. This is what you can hear without the OBS noise suppression connecting to XLR of the PD100X, to the G1 Neo. Now let me enable the noise reducer on the G1 Neo itself. As you can see, noise gone, right? That is level 1 of noise reducer. This is now level 2. As you can hear, it's now pretty good. And now back without any noise reducer here. So that is without noise reducer from the G1 Neo itself, PD100X via XLR. If we go ahead and enable it here, that's how it sounds. Of course, being connected to the G1 Neo, you have a couple of options like this.
You can sound as sassy as I am right now. This is just on the G1 Neo, but again, this is the quality of the PD100X XLR as well.
We're just going to leave the noise suppression on the OBS, and let's compare it now to the USB of the PD200X. So again, this is, you're currently listening on the PD100X, as you can see, and this is the 200X. Let me go ahead and mute this and unmute the PD200X. Bam. All right, you're now listening to the PD200X via USB. Again, this is the PD200X via USB, switching back to PD100X XLR. Bam, this is now the G1 Neo or the PD100X XLR. Let me know down in the comments below which one you prefer. I believe on the PD100X, my gain is around 60-70% only on my G1 Neo. But on the PD200X, it looks like my gain is on 100. So that might be, really high, as you can see here. I'm also on deep tone there. So if we will go back to PD200X here. All right, we're now using the PD200X. And if we adjust the software a little bit, make it like natural, for example, let me know if there's any difference. This is natural on PD200X via USB, switching back to PD100X. This is now PD100X via XLR connection. Again, this is the PD100X via XLR connection connected to G1 Neo. And we're back. That is the PD100X via XLR connection towards G1 Neo with a little bit of noise suppression from OBS itself. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know down in the comments below, which one do you prefer? On our testing, do you prefer the Maono PD200X, which is actually substantially, or not substantially, probably double the price of this one, right? Or around 170%. I purchased this back in the day, around 1 year ago, for I think $80 or something like that, right? But this one right now, PD100X is just priced around $45, something like that. So it's pretty cheap compared to this one, and I think they're the same, right? I mean, they're both USB again with XLR connectivity, so really really handy. They're both dynamic microphone. The only really difference is the amount of RGB that the PD100, which is the one that you're listening right now, has, right? But right now we're connected by XLR and it's also working great. I love the stand of the PD100X. If you notice, the stand is super sleek compared to this old kind of shock mount that you have here. I wish they would have like released something like this that will be applicable for PD200X, because I love the PD200X, but this stand right here is pretty cool, right? It's showing the body of the microphone really really good. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below, which one do you prefer in your ears? Which one is better? Subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you're new here or if you're not subscribed yet. I unbox and review a lot of stuff like this. It might help you in your purchase decision. So consider subscribing, but thank you so much in advance. But that's all for today, guys. Click like and share this video if you want to support the channel. But thank you so much, and I believe that's all for today. Stay safe, guys, and see you on my next one. Peace.